Language Experience Approach, LEA, and Digital Language Experience Approach. Language experience approach, we'll refer to it as LEA. LEA was originally designed by Russell Stauffer in 1970. And LEA was really to promote emergent and beginning literacy development. So as a teacher, you will start LEA with a shared experience, like going on a field trip as a class, or do a read aloud as a class or in a small group, or bringing in a stimulus of an object that you've studied, or doing a scientific experiment. Anyway, it has to be a shared experience as a group. So after this shared experience, you as a teacher have the students tell orally according to your prompt. So you have to decide what the prompt is to have the students talk about the favorite part or what they learned, what they feel about it. Whatever it is what you decide about the prompt, the students will tell you orally to respond to your prompt. Then you as a teacher, you are the secretary. You are the scribe and dictate what students are saying to you on a chart paper. Now, we want to write down exactly what the students are saying to us, and we dictate it, but we want to also make sure that they are grammatically correct. So you can talk about, how to make it correct at that point, or later on you can have a revising time to edit it. So after this dictation on the chart is finished, then you have to be practicing reading and rereading it in various different ways: choral reading, echo reading, sentence strips reading, group reading, or however you do it. You will have them keep reading it until students memorize that shared reading text. So while you're doing this shared reading using this chart paper that you dictated students oral responses, you will use that as a shared reading text, so you can discuss and reading it and teaching the students about phonological awareness, concept about print, concept of word, phonemic awareness, and other conventions and so forth. So then students are almost ready to memorize all these words and phrases and sentences. Then you type this shared reading text into a personal reader, so students can feel like they are conventional readers, because we dictated their own words, so they already feel like they own those words. And we also have practiced and reread so many times, so they can behave and read as like conventional readers, even though they're actually pretend readers. Here we go. So we already talked about the text when we are publishing into a personal readers, or publishing into a chart to display on the bulletin board. That's publishing in the classroom. So we want to make sure again that text must be grammatically correct. Now let's move on to Digital Language Experience Approach, DLEA. So just as the same way we did LEA, to do a DLEA, we as a teacher, we have to select a shared experience by ourselves or with the students. So the teachers can suggest for an activity. It can be a read aloud, it can be a going on a field trip, it can be a scientific experiment, it can be a book report. I mean, you decide with the students, and you as a teacher need to set the expectations for students should do or should not do lists. And you gather materials, and if it is a read aloud, you have to decide on a book which book you will read to the students, or the duration of the activity. So you will decide that. Now, DLEA step 1. You have to decide what your reading method is. Are you going to work with the beginning immersion readers? If so, you will read aloud for sure. And that's only one option you have. Or if you're working with mature intermediate level students who are readers, then you decide whether you're going to read to them or read with them, right? Okay, then DLEA step 2. Now you're going to think about prompts after reading, or even before reading you can pick out your prompts, right? So your prompts can be about students telling you about their favorite parts of the text you've read, or have the students sequencing the main events, any personal text-to-text, text-to-word connections, or you can ask any open-ended questions. Why? Why did it happen that way? How do you know? So open-ended questions, you can pose them, or you can pose some distancing prompts. For example, what would you do if you were the main character in this case? Or why would you not do it this way? Explain. So any of these can be your prompt. You can select and set this prompt or prompts. It can be one prompt or a few prompts. Set these prompts aside for now. DLEA step 3. Let's determine, we're going to take photos and have the students respond to your prompts, or are you going to scan the pages of this picture book that you read? So first option is this: you take photos of your students responding to your prompt. The second option is you take photos of your student interacting with you, so you are in the pictures in these photos to the text regarding your prompts. Or the third option is, are you going to scan pages of some picture books that you read, that the picture, not some pictures book, the picture book you read, and have the student respond to your prompts. So for this third option, I can think of sequencing can be a good activities to do with after you scan some pages, like beginning some pictures and the middle part of the pages of the book you can scan, and some ending part of the pages of the picture book you can scan and have the students retell by the sequence, looking at those scanned pages. Or you can scan several pages and have the students select their favorite parts and respond to you, what their favorite parts are, why their favorite parts are these. Or you can scan some of the pages if you're going to focus on the issues or the problems or events you're going to have the students to reason why these are important events. If this is, let's say, an expository text, and you want them to explain, what are the causes and effects, and or the descriptions of some kind of phenomenon. So scanned pages of the picture book can be a useful way to conduct this DLEA as well as other options like taking photos as well. So here we go, DLEA step 4. Now you are going to record what your students are telling you in responding to prompts. So you're going to remind your students of your prompts, and then you're going to record their responses. So decide either student responses to your prompts, so their voices only, or you're going to have your prompts with the students' responses. So you decide whether to record their voices only, or you're going to decide whether you're going to record your voice and your interactions with the students. Okay, then DLEA step 5. Then after that, you will choose pictures, which photos you're going to add and insert in the digital LEA. You can choose those pictures with the students, and even music with the students, depending on the way your child and students can do it with you. Pictures only, or pictures and music together. Now let's make all these things we've done with the students. Now let's make this digital. Now you need either Movie Maker, iMovie, KidPix, or Little Birds, those softwares. Then step 7, you're going to add videos and photos. Step 8, you will add sounds and musics that you chose and saved on to your desktop. And step 9, you're going to edit your video tools. Step 10, you're going to record and then transcribe the recordings. You're going to use those transcriptions as your captions. That's adding the captions. So those recordings are going to be your captions. If you're working with the intermediate level mature readers, you can have the students write their own responses instead of you transcribing their oral responses. And those writings can be then the captions. Now, we're going to have a few students upload their final products to see how it looks and sounds like as a final product, so you can have a better idea.